Hi, I'm Scott, and today we're doing windows on Dad It Yourself. So a bunch of the windows in the pink house were done by the previous homeowner. It looks like he got windows off of Marketplace or Craigslist or one of those, and then he shoehorned them into the existing openings. These here, this one, the two on the front, and then there's another one on the other side on the living room, seem to have fit very well into the openings. One of the bedrooms on the other side was definitely a custom fit, and there was a lot of exposed framing and stuff that I had to deal with. But this window right here is the kitchen window, and he didn't try to replace this one and didn't have one sitting aside in the shed. So I went and bought a custom window for this opening. It was a little bit more expensive, I'm assuming, than a Facebook Marketplace find. But this one should go in pretty easy. I should be able to take that frame out. The new window will slide into the opening. I just have to deal with the construction flange, the trim, and flashing this window. That was the other thing that bugged me about his installation, that there's no flashing on top of these windows. So the rain that's hitting here is going behind that trim. It doesn't look like there's any type of caulking or anything up there. So I'm assuming that they're not caulked, and that rain is actually probably running in around the window and then going into the siding down in this area. So we're going to rectify that as well while we're working on this project. So today's project, we're going to replace this window, and then on the other side of the house, we're going to replace one of those windows with a store-bought Ply-Gem from Home Depot and see how that's going to be fitted in and framed into the windows. Hopefully it'll look something like that when it's done. Let's get started. So before I take this window out, I want to show you guys what the view from the inside looks like so you get an understanding of why we wanted to replace it. So here's the view from the inside with all the overspray. It's not very good. And because this is a single frame aluminum window, it's really not that energy efficient. So time to take it out. Well, here's the opening. I'm probably going to put some tuck tape or something along this lower edge just to protect that sill. It looks like that window held pretty good. There's a little bit of staining right there and then on this side as well. But overall, it looked like it did its job down here. It's a little, I wouldn't say moist, it's just dirty. Let's go ahead and try to fit that window in, and then we'll see what we need to do from here. So this is the window we're going to be putting in. It's a vinyl constructed sliding window. Comes with a screen, dual pane, argon filled, low E, and it's from a company called Ply-Gem. They're super popular on the West Coast. I don't know if they have them on the East Coast. I got this from my local builder's supply, but I could also have ordered this custom through Home Depot. So I've measured the opening of the window, and I ordered it so I had a little bit of play on either side. I have about a 1/2 inch of clearance on all sides of the window, but what I have to do is I have to cut the siding up here so that the top flange of the vinyl window goes up underneath the siding and provides a way if the rain hits it, then it goes to the outside of the flange and then outside of the siding. So I put some tuck tape on here. Not the greatest product for this. I wish I had some like Vicor tape or something, but this will do. We're also going to put a very generous bead of Lexel around this window. And then I put some shims on the bottom to make up that 1/2 inch roughly, and to level out the sills so I know the window's level. All right, let's test fit the window. All right. So that fits. Get it ready for install now. So normally when you put a window in, you'd use a roofing nail, technically, or a siding nail, and you'd put it in every hole. But I really don't feel like banging on this metal too much. So what I'm going to use is what they call a lath screw. And it has a similar setup as this nail, very flat head, and it'll go snug in against the wall. I only have 11 of these, so I'm going to have to actually pick up some more when we go by the flashing. So I'm cutting the trim right now to get ready to trim the outside of the window. And a trick I learned from the Perkins Brothers builders, I'm actually wearing their shirt right now, is when you're putting trim on a window, you want to leave a little teeny gap right here, like less than 1/8 of an inch, but not, you don't want to put the trim right up against the window because then there's nothing for the window caulk to key into. It'll just be on the surface in the corner, and that's going to break down really quick. So you want to leave just a little teeny gap. I don't know if you guys can see that. So that the caulking has a way to key into the, between the trim and the window. And the trim style I'm going to use here, I think it's called a Wigington or a Winchester or something. I'll put the name right here. I looked it up, and that's where the sides and the bottom form a box, and then the top hangs longer, kind of like it is over here, except for they did the stiles and rails incorrectly. The rail is supposed to be the full width, and then the stiles are supposed to stop onto it, as opposed to how they did it, coming straight down. So we're going to do it the correct way on this one. So the trim's all in this window. I'm just going to run a bead of caulk around the tops, the sides, and the bottom edge of the vinyl, but no caulking here. So in case any water gets behind this, it has a place to run out onto the siding. Okay, that one's all done. And the trim is called Winterfield. Not the brand, but the style with the high cap and then the stiles and the rails set there. Winterfield. Okay, we're going to go inside and case out the inside of the window now. Hey, before we put the trim on the window, we want to insulate around it, and we're going to use Great Stuff window and door. Make sure you get the window and door stuff. If you get their general insulation, usually comes in a red can, it's going to expand too far and it could bow and interfere with the function of the window and or the door if you're using this around a door. So while that's curing, there's Trevor out there. We'll wait till that cures. We'll cut away any of the excess where I got a little crazy on it. But we're going to finish cutting all the trim for the interior casing. Okay, so I pre-cut all of the, we'll call them inner casings. So I have a stoop, which is the width of the window opening plus 3 inches on both sides, and then cut to the depth from the face of the wall to the window case. Then I have the head case. This goes across the top of the window. And then the side cases or stiles, and these go from the side. These are 1/2 inch, and I've got a little bit more than 3/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the box, and then we'll put it in the window and shim it square on the window. All right, so there's all the trim and the casing put on there. That looks really good. We're going to clean this area up. I'm going to put some caulking on that, and we're going to call this project done. So that's a wrap. Really no challenges when you buy yourself a custom window that fits in the opening you already have. Use simple carpentry techniques that are standard in the industry, and look at that window. It came out fabulous. Probably one of the nicest windows in the entire house. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about this, put those down below. Speaking of comments, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you do, hit that bell for notification. If I've done anything in this video or any of my other videos that you found helpful, consider joining my channel, becoming a Patreon, or giving me a super thanks. I've got some videos over here you may be interested in. Subscribe button's right down here. Thanks for watching. Dad it yourself.